if I am not free of this.
If you are free of this belief, if I could snap my fingers and have you go, wow, that was a pretty crazy interlude in my life where I believed a lot of crazy stuff. Whew, that's terrible. I'm not being targeted. I'm not being harassed. There's no state-sponsored and state-funded agencies trying to make me woozy with electric death rays from space. I'm going to rebuild my life.
I never said these rays are coming from space. Although, for all I know, they could be. Uh, but I never said that. Uh, I have never conjectured that far. So there are directed energy devices which are being used, and when I'm in a place which is secured with, for example, concrete um, on all sides, and there's very little chance of intrusion, then I don't get exposed, and I don't feel space. I don't feel sick. But I've never said that. I've never conjectured as far that they might be coming from space. Although, for all I know, they might actually be coming from space. Uh, so he's just he's using these exaggerations to make it sound outlandish and crazier. So that's another psychological trick. Why he's using that, uh, I've explained that.
Because this delusion almost took me down.
No, it's not possible for me to think like that, because although I don't have.
It is possible. Sanjay, do not be helpless in the face of these beliefs. No, you are more.
Whenever I express helplessness, I am fully aware of what is happening. I am resigned to the fact that it's very difficult to get help for this kind of thing because it's covert and it's based on technology which is not very popular, which is not in the public domain. But I've never expressed helplessness. I am suffering. Yes, I do get exposed every day, or pretty much every day, and it has upended my life. And yes, I am being hampered because of the 24/7 nature of this harassment. But I've never said that I'm helpless. So far, that hasn't happened. It can happen. It can happen if I'm debilitated to the extent that I'm not able to move around or think as I can now, or at least until now. But that hasn't happened yet. So, how Stefan concluded that I'm expressing helplessness. So, if somebody calls Stefan on the show, then is he or she expressing helplessness? No, not really. There is a problem. It's a difficult problem. It's a problem. Solution is not easy to find, and that's why people call him, and that's why I call him. But how come if I call him, it's helplessness? If somebody else calls him, then it's just to seek advice. And I also called him to seek advice. So he is obviously, in this conversation, he's trying to project something, and that something is that this court harassment is total imagination, which he has been told. So it's he's mouthing what he has been told. He's saying exactly the same things which harassment agencies want him to say, and so there's no basis whatsoever for his statement like this.
No, it's not possible for me to think like that, because although I don't have.
It is possible. Sanjay, do not be helpless in the face of these beliefs. No, you are more. You are more than these beliefs. Why is it?
So having a conviction is not helplessness. You can say that somebody has a conviction that they know the truth and they want to stick to the truth. Then anybody can come and say, "Oh, you are helpless in changing your conviction." So that's a twisted way of trying to modify a person's conviction. And of course, Stefan has been disingenuous all through this conversation. So he